Okay, guys, welcome back to the Welsh Rugby Roundup show. And although it is all doom and gloom in here in Wales with rugby, we still have a game this weekend. And here at the Welsh Rugby Roundup show, of course, we're going to preview it. I'm joined by the Welsh Wizardess. It is Rhian. Welcome. How are you doing?
Well, it's sort of a mixed thing. I'm quite excited by the team that Pivot's picked for tomorrow. I think this is finally, for the first time, we're seeing a team that is picked to fit his game plan and his ethos. So some young players, exciting, 3 new caps, and Zamek finally gets to start a game. So it's all to look forward to.
I think it is very exciting. Just before we go anywhere more, make sure to like and follow our page on Facebook and subscribe here on YouTube. As you can see, I have a little caterpillar growing underneath my nose. I am raising money for Movember. There's a link down below. They make and do incredible work for charity and for health issues concerning men. And so if you want to donate, that's amazing and greatly appreciated. But if you don't feel like you can support financially, that's fine. I understand that. Difficult times at the minute. All I ask is that you share the link onto various forums. Anyway, let's talk about the game then. As you said, it's a very exciting young team. We'll have a look at the team now. And I want to get your thoughts on this team because I'm quite excited by a couple of names. I'll quickly go through it. A lot of new caps. So starting at fullback, we have Liam Williams comes in and plays at fullback. Johnny McNichol brought back into the squad over the past week or so. He plays on the wing with the debuts for Louis Rees-Zammit, starting debuts as such for Louis Rees-Zammit, with a centre partnership then of Johnny Williams with Nick Tompkins. Johnny Williams, of course, getting his first cap. Callum Sheedy will play at 10. He got his first cap against Ireland last week with Kieran Hardy, the Scarlet scrum half, starting at 9 and also getting his first cap. Avon Wainwright plays at 8 alongside Tipperick, and James Botham comes into the team as well. Many people have said his grandfather played cricket. Yes, everyone knows by now. Then we have a lock partnership then of Jake Ball and Seb Davis. A lot of power there, you feel. Samson Lee, Elliot D and Wyn Jones then are the front row, leaving a bench of Jonah Holmes, Johan Lloyd, young player playing for Bristol. He'll get his first cap, hopefully. Rhys Webb, James Cubby Davis, Corey Hill, Leon Brown, Nicky Smith, and Sam Parry. Rhian, what are your thoughts on that team? Are you happy with the selection, and who are you excited to see?
I'm happy for the way I think they're going to play or try and play, and let's hope the weather plays into our hands for this. I think it's quite an exciting team. Obviously, we still have some injuries there, so you sort of think some players have probably come in because players like Taluk Falatau tweaked his ankle, and I don't think I'm starting to think we probably won't see Moriarty now. Navidi is still coming back from his HIA concussion. So while I can see other places people slotting in, I'm just quite excited to see. Well, we've got Liam Williams. He's playing in the position he wants to prove himself in. Johnny Williams, born in England, played under 20s, played for the seniors against the Barbars, so was uncapped, but has chosen Wales, and his name is Johnny Blethyn Rees-Williams. So obviously he's come from good Welsh heritage there, and I'm hoping, because it's been difficult. Number 12 has been a difficult position for Wales since Hadley Parkes went, and hopefully he'll make a real impact there. So you got, and then Zammit, Johnny Nichols. I just think it's, again, there has been talk whether Nichols should have been in there and jumped on from Jonah Holmes. We have to wait a bit longer for a Holmes and Moriarty back on the pitch. That goes back to the 90s, the relatives. But and again, how Liam plays at 15, that brings a bit of counter-attacking in. Don't take it away from Halfpenny, but I think Liam will bring something new there. Yeah, so McNichols, he's got a lot to prove. But Pivot likes him. Pivot has always rated him, and yeah. The thing is so they've got it. The back's got to get the ball, and that's one thing. The last two games we haven't had. We haven't had any ball or quality ball, and so all this, jumping up and down about the quality in the backs will all come to naught if we can't get that ball out to them.
It's going to be really important that throughout the game, as you said, that the forwards give the backs the platform to play. Because you look at the back line, it's really exciting. And I think we were speaking before we started to record, this is Georgia, but we'll get into Georgia in a bit, but they are not at the same level as they were maybe 4 years ago or a little bit more than that. They've obviously lost a lot of key players to retirement, and some players haven't been playing, and the way the league has started is very different because of COVID and everything. So this Georgia team are not the team that they used to be, and I think Pivac has the license really to experiment. And I said before that for him, it's kind of a win-win situation here. I cannot see us losing this game. I just can't see it happening. And so if he gets a win here, which he will, and he's also given a lot of youngsters new caps, I expect all the uncapped players on the bench. I expect Johan Lloyd to come on. I expect Louis V. Salmon to get most of the game. I expect Sheedy to play all the game, to be honest. So I think that for Pivac, it's a win-win. He's given young players a chance, and they've won the game. And so it takes a little bit off the heat off him. I do think it's important, though, that we do play well in this game. But I want to get your thoughts. Do you think it's important that we play well, or is it just about the result here and giving the youngsters a chance? Was it important that we play well? Because I know we've got England next week, and I just can't see a way that we beat them at this moment in time. But you want to go into that game with a little bit of hope, at least.
Yeah, I think Pivac probably had he said he had a plan. He always had a plan for Georgia for everyone to see the way he wanted to play rugby. But obviously the previous two games didn't go to plan. I personally think that to take the pressure off him, he needs to win with good rugby. It's got to be there's got to be the open flowing rugby that he that's his trademark. That's what he wants to deliver for Wales. If they go out and win, and they win dirty against this Georgia team, I don't think that's enough to sort of to take his head off the block myself. I think he does need to win, and win well, and show the Welsh media, get that pressure off him. It's the watershed will be England. That is his watershed, but if he can go into the English game, having played some really good rugby, and demonstrating to us all what it could be, then I think he's more likely to sort of survive until the Six Nations at least.
I think it's important as well that the players remember that they need to win the game first before showboating a bit too much. I'm all for playing really attractive rugby and things like that, but they need to earn the right to play this style of rugby and to win the game. And I think for Pivac, he needs to win this one well and not get hammered by England. Because if we get hammered by England 40 to 50 points and we don't play great against Georgia, I think he's gone. And I would back him going if we had those type of performances. Because for me personally, all over these past few weeks where people have been saying Pivac out, and I know you feel the same, I was like, no, give him time. He'll come through. He'll come good. Now I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence a little bit about this one. And I think he's got a lot to prove, to be honest. But where do you think the game's going to be won and lost on Saturday? Because it's a strange one for Georgia. What are their strengths? Maybe the pack, you'd say? Maybe?
The pack has always been, traditionally, that's the Georgian strong point. We need to our set pieces, if we play like against Ireland, still gives me nightmares. But you can't do that against a big heavy pack. What I do like to see is the front five. It seems to be a more balanced scrummaging unit. The team he's picked. I think I would have put Alan Jones in there. Last week, why Wyn Jones didn't start, I don't know. But it just seems to be better balanced and more in line with what Pivot wants for this game. Obviously, we need, the VD Tips, Moriarty and Falatau. If they were there, that would be even better. But on paper, it's well within his plan, I should think, and it's a big opportunity for Elliot D. But to me, I'm at the stage now. I'm just wanting them to be able to win their set pieces, because we haven't seen that, and it's been dire.
Yeah.
So and as people are quite rightly saying, is how do players who were world class a year or so ago suddenly lost everything, lost all their skills, and it just sort of doesn't make sense, does it? So it'll be interesting to see whether they can actually have they sorted that out. Does this new the new front five does that sort those problems out? Because they can't, if they get dominated in the scrum again, it's pouring down with rain, and it becomes just a forwards game, then we could be in trouble, So
yeah, and I think it comes down to that, doesn't it? If you can't use your set piece to good effect, you get a penalty in your own 22. If you can kick the ball and get a good line out, and you can secure the ball and you can build from there, because I believe that our backs will be too much for the Georgian defence, but we have to have the platform to be able to do that. And it's very worrying, isn't it, that, for instance, against Scotland, when we played against them a few weeks back now, when we played against them, our style of play under Pivac didn't work. We went back to Gatland's style of play, boom, we were controlling the game. And so I've said it many times, I believe it's a communication problem. I just think it's going to take time to get back in. Now, there was an incident in the France game in the warm-up where Tipuric flied out the line on his own in a blitz defence. That's clearly a communication error, that he's either not communicated to the rest of the players that he's going to do that, or he has, and the others just haven't listened to him, or the coaches have said it, and some of the players on the pitch have actually thought, this isn't working, we're not going to do this. So I do think it's important that players, though, take responsibility on the pitch. Okay, do so much, and sometimes you have to grab the game by the balls and say, right, we're going to go direct here. We're going to pick and go. We're going to be patient. We're going to win penalties. It's going to be ugly, but we're going to get the results. So it's going to be in this team.
What we've been missing, isn't it, is that digging down deep to find a win from a disaster, and they just seem to have lost that ability. Just looking a bit sort of rabbit in headlights a bit. So I'm hoping that, because we have a younger team, it's people coming in and not under the sort of Gatland ethos, perhaps. And 10 years with one manager is hard, isn't it, to transition. So hopefully these young guys will demonstrate that Pivot is the manager that we want for Wales, rather than there's just no communication, and no one knows what their roles are, and perhaps the rest of the coaching team isn't up to speed. So I think tomorrow is this game is all about showing us how it wants to play at the Rugby World Cup. And it's the beginning of that sort of beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning, which runs down to next week. And when we do our pre-England match preview, Matt's going to be very interesting because I don't know how he's going to do if they have really good games tomorrow. Are we talking about some of these young guys starting next week? He's released George North, for example. There are several of this team who weren't even in the initial squad that play tomorrow. So, it's all it's all coming to a big crescendo at the moment, isn't it? Do we go out with a bang, or do we go out with a slight pop?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Let's quickly talk about Georgia. Georgia, as we said before, not the same team that they were. Again, Scotland was not impressed, but I think what people have to realise, having spoken to a Georgian in one of the forums, he said that the league had restarted, but the players who'd been called up to the national side had to self-isolate in the bubble of the national team. So that was their first game, and they actually haven't played a game since then. And so Wales have had 3 games to warm up now, while Georgia have had 1. So I wouldn't expect all that much from Georgia. Of course, traditionally, it's the forwards who dominate the game. Of course, no Gogo's in the team anymore. He was a massive stalwart for them. So I think if Wales can be patient and we can break them down, I think our fitness will probably be better as well. And we're just patient and earn the right to play. I just can't see a way Georgia really causes any problems. The only place I can see is the scrum. And that will be our own doing, to be honest. I can't see Georgia causing us too many problems.
No, and but I just think it's a great opportunity for Georgia to put, the autumn series. It's a great opportunity for them to actually play at this level.
Let's talk about predictions then. How are you seeing this one going, and what are the key things that Wales managed to do in this game to get a good win? Because I think we both expect the win, but we want to see a good performance, don't we?
Yeah, I just want to see those backs get released, get good quality ball, and if they can do that, if they can get the ball out and they sort of tighten up on their set pieces, then I'm sort of expecting quite a high score.
And I think. Yeah, if we can get the platform, we have to be patient, though. We can't start throwing the ball on our own 22, 5 minutes in.
No.
I'd like to see a lot of leadership on the pitch. This is a big opportunity for players like Liam Williams to really step up as a leader on the pitch. People like Jake Ball, who have got lots of caps. They may not start every time for Wales, but they've got a lot of caps. There's a few fair experienced heads in that team. I want to see them step up and really take command, and the players take responsibility on the pitch. And I don't want them to feel like they're holding Pivac's hand all the time. I want them to feel like they can play and make decisions on the pitch. I am backing us to win, and I do think we'll win by about 20 to 30 points. But it might be like when you play against Italy, sometimes first 60 minutes might be a bit close. But then the strength of our bench and the fitness and the ability of our players will certainly outweigh Georgia's team. So I'm going to back us to win and win well. I think this is the first time that I've backed Wales to win. Oh gosh, okay. And every time I've got it right. So hopefully this time I'll get it right as well. Just before we go then, make sure to like our page on Facebook and follow it, and also subscribe here on YouTube. If you want to support financially with Movember, that's amazing. If you can't, again, just share it on the forums. Our live show is coming up in December, first Monday of December, and we'll be rounding up, of course, the whole Autumn Nations Cup, where hopefully we'll have got 1 win. But for now, thank you, Rian. Really enjoyed this one.
Yeah. And fingers crossed.